Hey everyone, I'd like to start with a quick audience poll. How many people out here have a to-do list? How many people have more than one to-do list? How many people aren't sure how many to-do lists they've got anymore? I have at least 3 to-do lists on my phone that I currently use, and about 4 other apps that I haven't even opened yet. And I love being productive, and I think to-do lists are great. They keep you focused. I'm sure, like in a room here, a lot of people like being productive and getting things done. You're out on a Monday night. You're not at home watching TV. But I think, like in terms of having those lists, they're wonderful. But they're so task orientated. We get very focused on like, oh, we have to get this stuff done. We want to impress people. We want to succeed. And for me, sometimes those to-do lists lack a little bit of fun. I think, as children, everyone's so playful and they have a great time, but as we get older, we lose that playfulness. I've come up with a concept called the funnel of cool, and I think maybe around like 9, 10, 11, everyone sort of slides through the funnel of cool. And you end up somewhere on a spectrum which probably has Fonzie at one end, and maybe like someone from Big Bang Theory at the other end. And you can be anywhere in the middle, or right at one spectrum, or down here. I was in like the alternative group at school, and we would eat lunch at the picnic benches every day, whether it rained or shone. So waterproof coats were something to always take to school. So you end up somewhere on the spectrum, and even if like you're not at the cool end, you still care about how people think about you. You want to impress people. And I love that children, they don't have that. So I want to talk to everyone today about being more playful and getting that sense of fun back in our lives. I went and got sushi today on my lunch break from work. The alter ego of the comedy person is I work in internal communications for an insurance company. Hilarious. Barrel the laugh, guys. I describe my job as like translating the strategy to all employees so they understand what the business is doing and they can connect their role into it. So I went for my lunch break and I was like, oh, I'll get out of the office for a bit. And opposite me at the sushi train was a family and a couple, and the children were like, oh, I love squid, oh, what's that, I'm gonna try it. And the couple here were like, there's just so much choice. I said, should I? No, I don't. Shall I? I said, what's on the menu? Oh my God, we can order more things. And it was just this delightful contrast of, I don't get anything, and oh, I fear the possibilities in front of me. And one of the great things, one of the things I love about improv is that for scenes to go well, you need to make a choice. So make a choice, and it narrows things down and you get more specific. And I think if people made choices quicker in life, you would save so much time. Even just like, oh, what should we watch on Netflix? Scroll, 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 scroll. I could have watched at least half a season by now. Scroll, scroll. So yeah, I think people should be more playful. I'm very fortunate. My family is hugely playful. I bought my mum a tower bridge jigsaw puzzle for Christmas. It's 3D. She's built it, and this week I got photos. It's this big. It's huge. I didn't know that when I bought it. And she has been to the pound shop to buy cars so that they can travel along the bridge. I got one shot of the cars, I then got one shot with the bridge open, I then got another shot with the bridge open with a paper version of Britannica coming through. But I think, like, for me, it's great if you've got people in your life who can bring that sense of play for you. A few years ago at work, it was like January, it had been snowing. Where I worked was going through like a lot of changes, lots of rounds of redundancies. And my job is to write some of the comms for that. Super fun. But we always want it to be like the best experience possible for employees. So I will always happily put in all the hours to make sure that that goes well. So I was in at 7, I was like, well, I'm never going to get through my to-do list today. It's one of those days where you're in at 7 and you'll leave at 7 and you're like, I achieved nothing. So I was very stressed, got in, had dressed for the snow and had finished my 8 a.m. meeting, was waiting for the lifts, and as the doors opened I could see in the mirror in front of me and I was like, I appeared to have dressed as a stable worker today. Because it was snowing, I had worn like jeans. I was like, they'll be warm. I wore Doc Marten boots, which were like fleece-lined leather, big chunky heel. I'd worn a plaid shirt. I was like extra layers on top of the plaid shirt, huge woolly jumper, like allegedly my size in Primark, but apparently had been stretched by like 3 people in a tug-of-war competition. And I got back to my desk and I looked at my colleague Alex, and he was just sitting there. He looked great. He had like, his hair was like slightly grey. He was in this lilac jumper that complemented it. And I was like, oh, Alex, great choice of jumper. He was like, thanks. He looked at me and went, you look like a farmer's wife. I was like, oh, I know! So went off to my next meeting and was like, oh, okay, like, need to think about how we can, you know, help these employees through the change. Let's look at the structure chart. How's this going to change? Oh, there's more additional comms looming. I used to look after finance at the time, and we were coming up to announce our full year results from the previous year. I was like, how do we make this interesting for employees and break that down? Went back to my desk at 1 and was like, all right, I've got half an hour, then there's another meeting. Came out the lifts, turned left, got to the door, and I was like, oh, what's that on my desk? Like, oh, there's more paperwork. I bet it's an envelope with like the expenses to fill in. I opened the door, I got to my desk. In the time I had been away, my colleagues had created a farm for me. They had been to the pound shop. My farm has a bison, a cow, a sheep, a donkey. I can't remember the other 2, which is pitiful because it's on my desk every day. A tractor, 2 cactuses, the set did come from Poundland, and 2 boulders, which are the same size as the sheep. They'd printed out a piece of paper which was grass, so they'd found an image of grass, just printed that out. Next to it was a card which was the cast from All Creatures Great and Small. And I was just so overjoyed, like this was the best thing to come back to, and it clearly wasn't on my to-do list. But gave me a massive boost during the day, and at 7 o'clock at night when I was like, oh, I just need to get through a bit more, I could play with the tractor, and if you do that a few times it just drives on its own. What I love about this farm is that everyone in the office, whatever floor I sit on, and I've moved desks a few times, gets involved in it. And there's a concept in improv, when you find the funny thing within a scene, they call it the game, or one school of thought is you call it the game, and that's the Upright Citizens Brigade, who was founded by Amy Poehler and some others in New York. And the game is like the funny thing, and you're like, oh, that's funny, I want to play with it, I want to play with it, and you heighten it and heighten it and heighten it. Since I got the farm, colleagues have made a scarecrow for it. They've also brought in additional trees. When there was an Easter egg hunt, 2 little tiny chicks appeared also on the farm. A colleague's niece came into play. The chicks are now driving the tractor. And then recently a colleague was like, I've got this toy which I think will be perfect for your farm. And it scares my son. And she brought in this girl, she's about this big, blonde hair, and she's holding a chick like this. And it really looks like she's going to kill it. So which in improv you make the funny thing funnier and funnier and funnier, and you call that heightening. And when you can heighten no more, you stop. So I thought the crazy chick lady was where we would heighten the farm to. No. She then brought in the farmer, the farmer's wife, and his son. And last Christmas, I opened up my Secret Santa present to find someone who bought me a farm in a box. This is a wooden version and sits on the opposite side of my desk now. So where I went from quirky and having one farm, I now have gone to eccentric and have 2 farms. I would just like to say, like, I'm so grateful to those colleagues. It's caused me and people in the office like so much fun. But you don't have to rely on other people to create your own fun. So take your to-do list, put something fun in it, like dance. My alarm to dance goes off at 3:30 every day, and if I'm not in a place I can dance, I'll put on a song that I can dance in my head to, and it gives me a boost. And there's so many different things you can do like that. So my final thing to say is, when you go through the cool funnel, be like, I like to think of it not just in terms of Fonzie and Big Bang Theory, but like presents. So don't be the present that's perfectly wrapped with all the corners tucked in and a neat bow. Be the one that's a bit messy, where there's like a bit of a patch missing. You can see the present, it's got 3 pom-poms on, the ribbons mismatched, and just have a great time. Thank you so much.